You don't have a problem with Russia. We have. You don't have. You might have. You still have.
Well, I think this meeting does have significance. It is, after all, I think the first time in some months that any of the parties whose engagement will be needed to do something to bring an end to this, to Russia's war in Ukraine. I think it's important that they do get together. I think it's important that discussions happen, that there are opportunities for people to lay out their positions and so on. So I wouldn't dismiss it, but I do think there are a lot of reasons not to get terribly excited about this right now, and I think there are some reasons to be quite concerned about it as well.
With Steve Moore, everybody knows Steve Moore with the Heritage Foundation.
Is your deadline still standing for Vladimir Putin to agree to a ceasefire tomorrow, or is that fluid now?
It's going to be up to him. We're going to see what he has to say. It's going to be up to him. Very disappointed, yeah.
Do you have to meet with? Does Putin have to meet with Zelensky in order and before you and Putin have to meet? Or are you
no.
Are you hoping you're willing to?
Well, the sort of things that I expect that the teams preparing the meeting will kind of have in their back pockets are probably things that are short of dramatic across-the-board ceasefire. They're probably things like, voluntary commitment to stop or to pause the carrying out of certain attacks, whether it's kind of long-range attacks, whether it's attacks on infrastructure or whatever. I think there's probably a range of options that they have, which are short of saying, okay, total ceasefire. I think one of the most desirable outcomes could be, but I don't think this is very likely, it could be, as I say, an across-the-board ceasefire to say, before we do anything else, let's just cease hostilities. I don't think anyone is going to win big from the immediate prospect, or the bilateral talks that are an immediate prospect. I think that the most likely winner, but it's going to be a small win rather than a big win, the most likely winner is Putin. I think it's likely he will succeed in his efforts to buy some time.
Заинтересованность была проявлена с обеих сторон. Кто там какое слово сказал первым, это уже не имеет значения.
А можете уточнить, Юрий Шутовский, ваш помощник, сказал, что она будет на следующей неделе, скорее всего. А где? Хотя бы намекнуть место.
У нас много друзей, которые готовы нам помочь организовать мероприятия подобного рода.
I think Putin believes that time is pretty much on his side. He hasn't enjoyed very much in terms of military success in the last year or more. But nonetheless, I think he feels that if he keeps grinding on in Ukraine, Ukraine itself, the countries supporting Ukraine, their support and their resolve will over time buckle. And I think that he feels he has the time to stick in there. Maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong. But that, I think, is the underlying feeling. I think a lot depends on, in a sense, the objectives with which Trump goes into the meeting. If he's going to go into the meeting with the spirit of, obviously having his eyes and ears open, but on the basis that really, nothing is agreed until all the parties agree. And so that means that this meeting, this bilateral meeting, can only be a preliminary to a meeting that involves and includes Zelensky and Ukraine. If he's going into the meeting, if Trump is going into the meeting with that sort of approach in mind, then I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. But I think there is a much riskier possibility, which is that Trump will be drawn into how Putin sees things, which is basically, I mean, Putin's view of the world is that it's the big countries that decide things and the little countries have to put up with what the big countries decide. And Putin, I'm sure, will approach the meeting in that way. He will say, Donald, you know, it's all very tiresome, this thing about Ukraine, but you and I are big guys and we lead big countries and we have to come to a decision here. That's the important thing. And the Ukrainians have to live with it. And a crucial factor is going to be how much Trump seeks to resist.